waste to him from the mainland. He's got to get that money somehow anyways, besides that nothing's changed. What else? Edward's doing fine, and he's got a similar opinion to me on the power plant. He said it's going to be an eyesore, but he does like the idea of doing more work. I'm writing this while we wait for the all clear of the platform, so I'll keep this book in the cab if we spot anything else going on. Damn it, I knew this would happen. The power plant exploded. We were at Wellsworth when it happened. We heard a loud explosion, the sky went red, and this huge cloud was visible in the distance. Sydney and I knew exactly where that came from, and we knew that we had to leave. Platform faster than I have ever seen before. We knew the shockwave would be coming fast, so we didn't even wait for an all clear. We released the brakes, hit the regulator, and pulled on the whistle for dear life, hoping that Cedric was still in the signal box to set the point. Thank God he was, because without him we would have been killed. He sped down the line at speeds we've never gone before. Donald was heading the opposite way, pulling so good we found out later that he didn't make it out alive. Neither did William or Colin in his head. Edward was probably the most horrified out of all of us, and I don't blame him. While we all had some layer of protection, he didn't, so that probably motivated him to go faster. We shot past Crossing, and that's when the shockwave hit us, and it was strong. It caused the glass in the coaches to shatter and rock them side to side. Edward's front pony truck also derailed from the point because of it. But those things didn't stop us. We could feel the heat rising. It didn't stop until we got to Medford.
Good evening, I'm Dr. Stuart Bailey. I work for the Atomic Energy Authority. I've worked for the AEE for 10 years, 3 of which I spent at AEE Winfrith near Dorset. I'm joined by my colleagues, Dr. Middleton and Dr. Dalby, both of which are my junior. At about 2:30 this afternoon, that's July 4th, the power station at Lower Brendam suffered a widespread system failure. Of 4 reactors online, only 1 is currently operating. The plant is currently running on backup power, with staff attempting to remedy the problem. The amount of radiation vented, or if radiation has been vented at all, is currently unknown. Teams from the Atomic Energy Authority have been dispatched to Lower Brendam to take radiation readings. We urge the citizens of Western Sodor to stay in their homes until the state of emergency is lifted or an order to evacuate is given. Thank you.
something to you, but we didn't even want to take a step off Edward's footplate when we saw shattered glass everywhere. But we knew we had to investigate. We saw a few bodies too, but they were beyond recognition. After failing to find survivors at Wellswood Station, I decided to go into the village and attempt to find any more scared souls who had survived this nightmare. Cindy, on the other hand, stayed with Edward and kept him company. I searched a few buildings thoroughly, but with no prevail before I decided to head back to Edward since it was getting dark. But as I was walking up to the old engine, my two-way radio started to make static. He took shelter in a bunker underneath his house that he had built a few years ago. His wife and daughter were okay. Too poor Trevor thought the blast got him bad. Jem had his rifle on him and put the traction engine out of his misery. Edward broke down in tears when I told him the news. Our adventures with Trevor until we felt drowsy, and we've decided to sleep inside Edward's cab tonight. It might be risky, but it's less hazardous than sleeping in a building with tons of shattered glass inside it. Luckily, we still had a spare fire blanket in the cab, so we used that. I hope this nightmare ends soon.